is that they become, these numbers become like a speedometer for you, right? For me, I know if I'm hitting those two business lunches with a business owner per week, I'm gonna make my number. I know it in the core of my soul. There's no question, right? But it took me a few years to figure that out. I kind of had to work at it. I had to change the number a few times. I was telling Rodrigo, he's like, at one point I thought I had to meet 1,000 business owners per month. Now, that's crazy, I can't do that. Even if I'm teaching seminars all the time, which I do, right? I still probably can't meet 1,000 business owners per month. But I kind of dialed it in and figured it out, and my number happens to be that one, right? So that's what that number's all about. How many of us found, who did not yet find an accountability partner? That's somebody else at the table who is going to remind them of this card in 6 months. Who has not yet done that? Okay? So, he doesn't have one yet?
No, I never could.
Okay, you got one? So, you're going to remind each other of this. Why?
To help that person
Complacency.
Hold those accounts.
You got it, right? Because otherwise we'll get complacent. And who do we owe this to?
Ourselves.
Right? We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our friends in the room. I'm going to ask you to write one more thing on the card. I'll ask you to write just one more thing. And I'm going to ask you to write it a little bitty, okay? So take out your pen and write it very small on one of those four surfaces. Write down 310-920-2153. 310-920-2153. That's this number. Okay? Do you know why I've asked you to put it on there?
Call you on New Year's Eve.
Let us know when we hit it.
You know why? Really? These things, they don't make me rich in a traditional way. Okay, they don't add to my vision, like to what I'm trying to do for my family in a traditional way. They do it in a non-traditional way. The opportunity to work with a group like this is so fulfilling for me, but I only get the fulfillment from it if I hear 6 months from now or 2 years from now from Fonz that he's getting what he's going after. Okay? So please, do me the honor of calling me when you've hit that number, or when you've accomplished that thing that you're looking for. When you've got that attitude, or when you're really down about something. When you've looked at that card and you're like, man, I just cannot get excited about this. I can't get to winning today. Pick up the phone and give me a call. Let me try to help. Okay? Just do me the honor of that. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay? There will never be a charge for it. For the rest of my life, I consider each and every one of you friends, and I will do my very best to help you with anything that I possibly can. That includes introductions to anybody in my Rolodex, as long as you use the principles and the philosophies that we worked on over the last 5 days. Sound good? Okay, cool. I appreciate that very much. So, one thing that always comes up at this time is we go, wait a minute, there's a few things we should have talked about over the last 5 days that we haven't. Let's make a quick list of them. What should we have talked about that we haven't talked about yet?
About initial greetings and breaking the ice with a new person.
Okay. I'm going to make a list up here, and we're going to see if we can get to a few of these. We'll prioritize them. So we'll just say, I'll say initial greetings, or can I just say breaking the ice with a new person? I've got a great one for you to help with that, if that's what you want. What's another one? Something else we should have talked about, but we haven't.
Dealer loyalty.
I'm sorry?
Dealer loyalty.
Okay. Dealer loyalty.
Overcoming objections.
We haven't talked about overcoming objections?
I think that was
Oh, you're killing me, dude. She's dreaming about overcoming objections. But what do you mean specifically? Like, what's
well, with dealers and they're not wanting to do business with us. I mean,
I think what he's trying to say is that changing someone's attitude. You get some of these dealers on the phone who are super boring and mundane, and you can't even get an inkling of anything out of them.
Getting dealers on the phone who are kind of boring and mundane and not being able to get anything out of them. By the way, is there anybody in here who's boring and mundane? Other than Alex? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think everybody in here is pretty interesting. We're going to give you, I can give you a technique for this. Is there anything else before I give you the technique for one to cover all three of these? Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that we should have?
I think setting realistic expectations with the dealerships.
The good news is that's the topic of Module 5. So that's exactly what we're going to cover here in a few minutes. So that one's covered. Anything else that we need to make sure is on this list? Feel pretty good about it?
How about Vegas?
What's that? Legos?
How about Vegas?
Sorry, Vegas.
Legos.
Anything else from you guys? Here's what's on the list right now. Is there anything that should be on there that isn't? It says breaking the ice, dealer loyalty, changing attitudes of dealers, and realistic expectations with dealers.
I think we're all good.
Good?
We're okay.
Okay, so we're going to give you a technique. We're going to give you a technique that's going to cover the first three of these. And then we're going to spend the rest of the morning on the fourth one. Good with that? Okay. The technique is called a conversation stack. And it's an ancient Dale Carnegie technique. When I say ancient, I literally mean this is one of the things that Mr. Carnegie taught 100 years ago in a YMCA in New York. Okay? So it is like as classic as it gets. And what this thing does is it breaks the ice. It creates a new level of dealer loyalty because it creates in them a sincere friendship. And then it helps you change the attitude of those kind of dry, boring, mundane dealers into one of friendship. Sound good? Yeah. It is one of the most powerful techniques in all of Dale Carnegie. I'm not going to call it the five-finger death punch because we already learned that, but it's a very powerful technique. It's called a conversation stack. In order to learn it, we're going to need to stand up.